Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, D'Anthony. My God, man, I'm a big deal.
You personally?
Yeah, me personally, I'm a big deal.
In what way?
I hit an 8-game parlay this weekend that was just off the fucking charts. So, to everybody that listens to the show, obviously mybookie.com, promo code Drinkin Bros, will double your deposit. We all bet there together, right? The beauty of that is you're able to go in and bet parlays and teasers, and we place them all in Drinkin Bros Sports Facebook page, which is private, so that way you guys can see all of our bets as they are happening. A lot of the listeners said, hey man, there is like these 6-point teasers in my bookie.
Right.
It would be great if you started playing some of those, and I had in the past. I did last year, and
well, my bookies made it easier too, because now it automatically, when you're building your card, it throws that in, and it throws in the parlay as well.
Correct.
Right, which is good.
Yes.
Like now that you know that the infrastructure exists, you think about the teams you want to parlay. You go make those bets first, and then you do everything else, or however you want to set it up. And they've made it way easier now than it used to be.
Way easier. So a lot of the listeners were like, "Hey, dude, since they're already doing that for you when you check out, so to speak." Why don't you do any of these 5-6 game teasers or whatever?
Right.
Here's the thing, kids. Teasers and parlays like that to me are for poor people. And when I say poor people, I mean it's like scratch off tickets, right? I don't know anybody, myself included, who's hit over a 5-game parlay, right?
It's rare.
I did 2 last year. I hit 2 5-game parlays. One was in the NFL, one was in college last year. And we celebrated, and it was fucking hilarious, and it was awesome, right? But 5 was kind of my max, where I'm like, dude, even 5 is pushing it to me. Where, not in my wildest dreams, I thought I could hit an 8-game one. And I did it just out of spite, because everybody was asking. I'm like, dude, you gotta play one. And son of a bitch, the first one I do, 8 games, I win. Now with that, you can do a 6-point teaser on it, and that's how I was able to kind of figure it out and win. Here's the interesting thing about it, and here's my biggest takeaway, because that was the first time I did it, and I won $2,600 off a $200 bet. So it was about 13-1 odds. The interesting thing to me is all of my notions of why I wouldn't do this and calling it a fucking poor person's thing is because it takes a fucking miracle to win that. And it did. Like, watching it unfold throughout the day, I had kind of forgot about it, because I just assume you're not going to win those anyways.
Right, yeah.
And a listener hit me up and was like, hey, man, not doing too bad. And I think the Chiefs should have this for you, but it's, they're going through some problems right now. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs was the night game. So when I flipped over to the Chiefs game on the way to work, because you and I were doing that Ruth Bader Ginsburg tribute show that night live.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Obviously. The spread was 8.5, and with a 6-point teaser, I'd gotten it down to 2.5. Well, it took Harrison Butker 5 total field goals of over 50 yards to make sure that happened in overtime with 2 minutes left.
I think it was 4.
Well, technically,
he kicked one, but did he get frozen on the first one? Because I wasn't watching that.
Yeah. So
if he got frozen on the first one, then he kicked 5 in that game.
Yeah. The first one was a penalty. So it brought them back 5
I'm talking
yards.
About that. So he kicked the 58-yarder earlier in the game.
Correct. And so including that earlier one, total, that motherfucker had to kick what?
It's 4.
4, yeah.
See, there's penalty, and then they froze him, and then he actually kicked it.
4 50-yarders.
That dude's got to be riding pretty fucking high right now.
Oh, bro.
Right?
Look, he's the MVP over Mahomes this week on that team, in my opinion. But when that came through, I looked at my card, and I posted it in Drinkin Bros, and I was like, holy shit, I'm 7 for 7. Heading into the night game. And of course, the last team in this fucking parlay was the goddamn Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, and they're so inconsistent when it comes to the spread too.
And the Seahawks will fucking take you right to the edge
They'll
of
win,
that spread.
They'll find a way to win by half a point.
Single game, every game.
Bunch of dicks, man.
And it came down to the same thing. It came down to the very last play of the game. New England's on the 1-yard line. Cam tries to punch it in and gets denied. Otherwise, I lose that bet, right?
Yeah.
And I win an 8-game parlay. Now I'm not sure what to tell people of whether or not to do this or not. Like, I would still lean on, no, you're probably not going to win these.
Probably. Well, I mean, look,
things.
the standard odds, all things equal. If they were, if every game was a pick'em, right? All things being equal, the standard odds on a 5-team parlay is 20 to 22 to 1, give or take.
Right.
The fact that yours was at 13 to 1 means that you were making smart bets, basically, right? Like
Smarter, yeah.
Like you almost halved the odds by making good bets, frankly. So I mean, I guess at 13 to 1, those are odds that a lot of people in gambling will take. If it's a small, if the payout is that much and you can only spend a small amount, right? Like if you're talking about 5 to 1 odds, like, yeah, you can spend $20, make 100. That's cool.
Yeah.
But if you can get those larger odds at $100 bet and make, 1,200 or 13, and then, at 13, put down $200, you make a lot more money. Those are decent bets to make because honestly, those are the bets that I like to make on Sundays after I've had a good day in college football, right?
Correct.
Like just turn that because that's fake money to me anyways. If I put money into the gambling site, that's money I never expect to see again. I'm just having fun.
Yep.
So I'll any money I make on Saturday, I will spend on Sunday.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. Any money I make on Sunday, I will always throw something on that Monday night game just to watch it because I'm going to watch it anyways.
Right.
Therefore, I might as well have some money on it. And I'm always honest with people. Go into the Drinkin Bros Sports Facebook group, sign up for it, because I'm always honest with you of like, hey man, I don't have really that great of a feeling about tonight's game. I'm just gonna bet it because it's the junkie game, and like I've already cleaned house.
Right.
I won somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,800 this weekend. $2,600 was on that parlay alone. $500 was on the Atlanta Falcons, and that was the most deflating game in our history since the Super Bowl.
I mean, that was as much as I am annoyed by Stephen A. Smith, he nailed it in his analysis of this one. He's like, man, the Atlanta Falcons have to be the dumbest team in the history of the NFL. Their current that coach has got to go.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't fired right after the game.
I can't believe he wasn't.
Me neither.
Honestly, I mean, it was they'd lost that game. The Cowboys did not win that game.
No,
they just handed that game away the same way they did in the Super Bowl that year, 28-3.
Yeah.
I mean, it was embarrassing, and it was for you. It must have been traumatic to watch that unfold because it's like the same shit that you saw in person that time. It's literally the same thing that happened.
Yeah, and like the weird thing for me was because the gambling aspect of this show, and for me personally, like I had 500 on the Falcons to win, right? But it was plus 3.5. When that happened, and as it was going down, I was looking at the clock and kind of trying to figure out the possessions at that point. I was
like how many more each team's going to get, I
was like, well, even if they get this fucking onside kick, I was like, even if they score a touchdown, I will still win this bet, and at least the audience wins money. So for me personally, like I've written off the Atlanta Falcons winning a Super Bowl until we get a new coach. So I'm honest with my team, whereas a lot of people aren't, and they have a really fucking hard time with it. Xander, our buddy, is a perfect example. He's a diehard Cowboys fan.
All Cowboys fans are that way.
They're all so fucking delusional, where people are like, oh, hey, man, how you doing? And I was like, look, I could have told you the same answer as I would have said after we lost to the Patriots in that Super Bowl. Until we get a new coach, we're not going to win a Super Bowl. Therefore, I really don't give a fuck about that game. Yes, it's embarrassing, but it doesn't mean anything because that is not a Super Bowl winning team. I did not have them in the Super Bowl this year.
No, of course not.
And I'm honest about my team and what we can do with that. It's a shitty defense. Both you and I took the over on that game, and we told the audience of like, hey man, these are two shitty defenses going up against each other. There was 79 points total in that game. It was 40-39. We won a shit ton of money, and neither of those teams are good enough to go to the Super Bowl. So it was almost like watching a Big 12 game to me.
Right.
So look, with the Falcons, you guys can save the memes and all that shit because I really don't care until we fire that coach. That's probably going to happen again. So therefore, it is what it is. It was an entertaining game to watch as a fan.
I don't know why.
As a fan of football, not a Falcons fan.
For sure. I don't know why they have not fired him yet, frankly. I mean, Deion Sanders just got a job at a small college. Why didn't they just hire him?
Yeah.
At least he knows how to play fucking defense.
Something.
You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
Something. So, for me, Cowboys fans, you can fucking save it because you're not going to the goddamn Super Bowl either. You don't have a defense. And I realized Dak had a fucking historic game. And it's like, oh my God, it's great. Look, I have Dak in fantasy. I told everybody to
take
get
him in
Dak
fantasy for
Prescott
sure.
in fantasy.
But doing that, putting up fantasy numbers and winning games is not the same thing.
No,
Obviously,
not at all.
Matt Ryan's demonstrated that for years now. So
yeah,
actually, Barkley was talking about it after the Nuggets-Lakers game last night, because the Nuggets dragged the Lakers last night, and they looked like the Nuggets team that we've seen in previous playoff series, where they're just outrunning and outshooting everybody all the time, and that's what makes them dangerous. They have two stars that people sleep on, like Jokic and Murray, and people sleep on those guys, but they can take a game over.
they're great. I mean, look,
Like,
they blew a 20-point lead, and that game was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah, it definitely was. But what Barkley said was, LeBron had a triple-double. Yeah, AD put up points, but they didn't play well. Like,
Right.
they didn't make – like, LeBron made a bunch of great defensive plays, but the team wasn't involved as much, and that's their job to get the team involved. That's kind of what he meant by it. And it's the same with Prescott. Like, he can't play defense, that's for sure, and he did have a good game. But very frequently in those big moments, Prescott's the guy that lets you down. Like, throws an errant ball for under no pressure.
And he will when he gets to the playoffs, and that's going to happen again.
I mean, he's
for the
done it this year
Cowboys.
already.
Yeah. So, look, I have no delusions of grandeur of the Falcons or the Cowboys or any of these fucking people. The one guy who is playing like an MVP right now is Russell Wilson.
Yep.
And preseason, I picked the Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl. So that's a guy who translates in both fantasy and real life, and it's great.
Him and Aaron Rodgers both this year so far. By the way, those are my two quarterbacks.
Are they really?
Team, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
That's hilarious. The Seahawks have lived up to the hype so far. They look good. I'm still not amped about watching these spreads, because every time it comes down to the last game, they cover. And for whatever reason, I'm the Seahawks whisperer. I've been able the last 2 years to pick Seahawks games for some reason.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, on the other hand,
hey, let me
I've
tell you
been
something
hit
about
and
the
miss.
Seahawks, by the way.
Yeah.
This year, they're going to be good. There's a pretty decent chance they can win the Super Bowl this year. But think about next year. Think about where Kansas City drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this draft. If that guy is open for Seattle next year, if they're in the last bottom 4 picks, which they probably will be, and they have the chance to bring in a great running back as well, like, it's fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
It's them and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for the next 4 years, probably.
If Russell Wilson stays healthy, man, that DK Metcalf looks pretty goddamn good.
He's a Pro Bowler already.
Man, he looks good. Seahawks look good, but I still have them losing to the Chiefs, and that's what I was
I don't
going
see
for.
them beating the Chiefs. Yeah,
I don't either. But the Chiefs, man, like you have said this for about a year now, and you've been spot on. Where the Chiefs are like the Warriors; they're just lazy, and so they actually have
bored.
to play.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it'll get you in trouble sometimes.
They were in trouble on Sunday, and there was no reason to be against the Chargers. Chargers are fucking terrible. It was at home, and I realize there's barely any fans in the stands, and there's not really a home field advantage or whatever, but there's no fucking reason to play like that against the Chargers. Like, the Chiefs should be dropping 45 a game, and, it's a fucking mess, man. If you're betting the Chiefs, like, because we went hard on the Chiefs this week, I don't know what to tell you, because it depends on if they want to play. Are they going to win every game? Yeah, pretty much. They'll probably go 12-4, 13-3. Are they going to try hard every game? I can't guarantee that.
And
man.
for gambling, that makes a big difference, because that's the difference between a 10-point win and a 3-point unnecessary win, right? Like, it's just unnecessary that the game would have been that close. But
with the Chiefs in the 6-point teaser, because the spread was 8.5, I took it down to 2.5 with the 6-point teaser. I won the teaser. However, I lost my straight bet on that, which was 8.5 points on the Chiefs, and they should have won that game by fucking 3 touchdowns. So when you're betting the Chiefs this year, I would keep that in the back of your mind, what Dan and I have said of, like, man, they play when they want to play, and there's no predicting when that is. I mean, look, the fourth quarter, they will definitely turn it on. So I guess if there's a fourth quarter bet, and there is live in-game betting on MyBookie, fire away on that. But, like, the first half and shit, they just look so goddamn bored.
I mean, it is reminiscent of the 2017-18 Warriors. I think something like 15 times they were down, 15 or 16 times they were down 15 or more in the third quarter and still won the game. Like, 15 out of the, 70 games they won that year, 70-ish games.
Yeah.
Were that kind of scenario. That's like, what, a fifth of all their wins. They were down by 15 in the second half. That's ridiculous. And I think it puts, like, that at the end of the season, them running out of steam at the end of that series, and I think that's what happened. Like, look, the LeBron fucking Draymond thing fucked them up, but I think they ran out of steam because they were used to sprinting in the fucking second half all the time. You know what I mean? And I think having to come back all the time wears on you. Jimmy Butler was just talking about it this week. He was like, being behind all the time like that, it definitely, like, you get tired of having to fucking constantly come back. It's like you're running uphill all the time.
And look, that was the same way with the Chiefs. In the playoffs last year, even against the Houston Texans, they were down by 24, with about 6-7 minutes left in the second quarter. Still turned it on. Were able to cover a 10-point spread, which is amazing and fine. Same way at the Super Bowl, man. Mm-hmm. They were down by 10 with 7 minutes left in the Super Bowl and ended up beating them by... They covered the spread in that too.
Maybe it's us, though. Maybe we're looking at it wrong. Maybe they just trust their process. And they don't care how many they win by. They know if we do these things, we're going to win no matter what. And that's been true so far, right? So maybe they just believe that. And they're like, well, here's the amount of energy we actually need to exert. And that's why they're never tired at the end of these games.
Yeah, maybe. Man.
That's a risk. But it's if it's stupid and it works, is it really stupid? You know what I mean?
But it's a shitty way to play where it's just like, it is this nonchalant attitude where it's like, all right, cool. Whereas I look back at The Last Dance, which just won the Emmy.
Jordan
for
never
best
would have
documentary. Never would have done that.
Jordan could have had the dream team playing in like a JV high school league, and he would have played hard every single second.
And he would have beat the spread.
Yeah, every single. If the spread's 600, he'd be like, fuck that. Because Jordan's the kind of guy, we know he's a gambler and shit, but he would look at stuff like that to be like, he would use it to motivate himself. Mm-hmm. He would be insulted by the spread, or he would be like, damn, there's a lot of points. We got to go out here and turn it up tonight. He found a way in every single game to motivate himself, whether it was positive or negative. I don't know if Mahomes is like that or not, but he definitely has a lot of confidence, and he is not worried about losing. Like I never see a look on his face of defeat ever. Not that he's lost a lot of games, but even when they're in super tough situations, down 10+ points in the playoffs in the second half, he still is just like stoic, calm, goes out there and plays the exact same game every single down. It's impressive. His mental toughness is really impressive, frankly.
It is, but he should be throwing 6 touchdowns a game, and like I'm not sure, because even in fantasy, everybody thought I was crazy for not drafting Mahomes in the first round. I told no one to take a quarterback in the first round.
I would take Lamar Jackson before him, Dak Prescott before him. There's a lot of guys.
Either way, the way the board sets up in fantasy, those guys will be there in round 3 or 4. So it's like the people who have Mahomes are disappointed right now, and it's like, hey, I can't tell you why that guy's not trying as hard as he always does. Like somebody tried to trade me Tyreek Hill today inside the thing, and it was like, dude, his first 2 games he hasn't had 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
It depends. Like, it's so hard when you have a team that you're like, I don't know if they want to show up and play today. So we'll figure it out. But one prediction besides the 8-game parlay that came true was the injuries. So you and I had said this with the pushback of preseason and the elimination and all that stuff. Watch out for a lot of injuries. If you're in fantasy, I told you guys to draft as deep as you possibly could. And I said specifically, go running back the first 3 rounds in a row. There was a reason for that, is because I thought there would be a ton of injuries because there was no time to prepare properly, and we had 21 major injuries this week. It felt like everyone went down this week.
Yeah.
The 49ers team as a whole looked like they were in the medical team.
I mean, 2 of the best
the top 2
guys,
picks, McCaffrey is out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Saquon's out for the year.
Saquon is out for the year.
Which is why I'm glad that I picked the other guy.
Yeah,
Zeke.
But it's week 3. We'll see.
Yeah, he's been pretty good so far. But there's also something about MetLife Stadium. They were saying that the turf was too long. And now Garoppolo got injured. Mostert, is he out for the year? I don't even know.
No, he's not. So he's doubtful for Sunday. It doesn't look like he's going to play Sunday, but he'll be able to come back.
So Garoppolo's questionable. He's been practicing, but they don't know if he's going to play yet.
Right.
Mostert's doubtful, but Bosa's out for the year, right? It's an MCL tear.
It appears so, yes.
Yeah. So he's out for the year, and they said something about their cleats kept getting caught on the stuff. Now, I didn't see a lot of Jets players get hurt, so I don't know if that's like they're used to it or whatever the fuck. I don't know if they just made that up as an excuse, but they're going back to play there this weekend against the Giants in the same state. The 49ers are going to play in the same stadium this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, so that's not if they really believe that, and it's in their head now. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking to bet on that game, I would not count on the 49ers to do that well.
I wonder what the spread is. We'll get to the spread in a second here, but with that, Bosa went out for the 49ers. So he's done. Defensively, God, I mean, there's a lot of people out this year. Von Miller's out for the year for the Broncos. Phillip Lindsay's out for the Broncos. Cortland Sutton Cortland Sutton is
Yeah.
out for the year for the Broncos as well. There is a lot of people. I mean, it's just bodies stacked this week, and be prepared, man. That's going to keep happening. Both starting running backs for the Rams were gone. They were down to Darrell Henderson Jr.
Yeah, so if you're playing fantasy, you need to be looking at second-string running backs that are now becoming first-string running backs.
Devonta Freeman from the
Atlanta,
Falcons is now the starting running back for the New York Giants.
Yeah.
So it's
He's a good running back, too, but
season fantasy-wise.
He's so much different than Saquon
Barkley?
Barkley.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I don't know how they're going to work him into that.
no idea.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Freeman's not. He just doesn't run that way.
Look, and he hasn't been that great for the Falcons. So
Well, I mean, their line's not the best
No.
in the world either.
No, but we'll see what happens with all of these teams. Thus far, though, the teams we picked have looked the best in the league, and we've been pretty goddamn good on the NFL. Now, college is what I want to focus on. Obviously, today is our college football preview show. Finally, we have all of the teams in now with the Big Ten. Finally, we have all the schedules, and the teams that are in will qualify for the CFP if it happens.
Yep.
Obviously, the Notre Dame game was just canceled against Wake Forest for the coronavirus, and another Texas team just got canceled for coronavirus as well. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can make it through the season. The NFL has been they had 0 negative tests after this weekend's game. So hopefully, college will have the same thing, but. I have had problems, and I've only bet, now granted, I've only bet a total of 5 games college-wise. I bet 3 the first weekend and then 2 this last weekend. Mostly because the big dogs haven't played yet, right?
Yeah,
SEC starts this weekend, which we'll get into, but these college games, having had the advantage of being inside of one, like you and I had, and not having fans, it really fucking hurts the teams that actually need the home field. So I bet Louisville. Yeah. I went relatively hard on Louisville versus Miami, and I missed it bad. They lost by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Louisville had no defense whatsoever, and they barely had any fans in the stands. I don't think Miami is that great. We've heard a lot of Hurricanes fans say, "Oh, the U is back." It is not back. No. The ACC is just a fucking garbage pile.
Yeah,
and that's. If you're putting all your hopes on that Derek Smith guy or Derek or however the fuck you're pronouncing it, he's not the guy, man. His progression reads really fucking slow. And you go up against a defense like Alabama or an Ohio State or an LSU, you're going to get, or Clemson, you're going to get fucking smoked. So these ACC teams are trash. But it makes them hard to bet because of these spreads. When you're playing in an empty stadium like that, college kids don't give a fuck about the spread, right?
Yeah, they don't care.
NFL is the NFL. They're professionals. They're going to go out and play, and try to win the game. I don't think the Chiefs give a shit about the spread, obviously, but they certainly care to win. Whereas these college teams, man, it is. I will say this: for gambling, it's going to be tough to bet on college this year. For the actual national champion, this will be the first year where it truly is the very best team on the field, because home field does not mean shit, and there is no fucking fans. So if you're out there and you're beating the shit out of these teams all year long, the best team will actually win, and not because you got stuck in a game in Death Valley and or there was a whiteout at Penn State. Like, you're not going to have any of that this year. So the best team will actually win the college football playoff. But man, gambling wise, it is really fucking difficult to call these. And when we get into these college spreads, I'll kind of walk you through as to why. Because some of these spreads for these SEC matchups are really fucking big. And with no kids in the stands, man, how much do you really care when you're on the road?
I don't know. That's going to be an interesting little thing there to see how teams play. I mean, we don't know yet. And the other interesting thing is that Notre Dame's playing in an actual conference this year. Right?
Yeah, in the ACC. Yeah. So is it a conference besides Clemson?
Clemson and Notre Dame. Look, Notre Dame is a top 25 team for sure,
yes,
but they're not
Barely.
They're not a top 5 team, and they may or may not be a top 10 team. I doubt. We'll see, but probably not.
We will see. Before we get to the college and NFL spreads for the week, D'Anthony, it is our college football preview show. We are going to pick our winners and our playoff teams today. How do you feel?
Feel about what specifically?
How do you feel about your picks for the top 4 for college football playoffs this year?
I'm a little iffy on them, to be honest. I actually like Texas to make their way into the top 4 this year.
Ooh, that is a hot take. No one has picked Texas.
No,
they look good when we saw them.
Yeah, they did look really good. They look sharp, and I think they're a team that gets overlooked a lot, and they're one of those teams that most of their difficult games during the year happen to be those big rivalry games that depend on the other team's crowd, like Oklahoma or Baylor. Sometimes it depends on who it is, right? A&M sometimes depends on what year you're in. Very frequently, Texas's only loss, or one of their only 2 losses before they get to the conference championship, is one of those really tough outs, and I don't see it happening this year. So I think Texas is going to be around come CFP time, particularly if they win the Big 12. And look, who's going to beat them? Oklahoma, right? It's the only team that has a chance.
Yeah,
so.
is that your 4th seed in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So interestingly enough,
it's Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas. That's what I have.
Gotcha. So
not necessarily in that order. We'll talk about that later. But those 4 teams.
Who, Ohio State?
Ohio State. Yeah.
Mine is Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State's, but
I'm in Ohio State, not Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I think Oklahoma's going to get bounced, to be honest.
So I'm actually putting Oklahoma in that 4th seed, and that's going to be mine, and almost for the exact same reasons you said, except for
it's the same thing.
That one game.
Yeah.
It's that one game. It's going to come down to the winner of the Oklahoma-Texas game, and I think that's going to get that last slot in there. And look, we got to see.
That game is week 4, though. That's October 10th. So after that,
but it is a shortened season, so you don't have a choice, man. If you don't win that game, you're fucking out.
Yeah,
especially in the Big 12.
That might be the biggest game of the year for any team that's on the regular season schedule. Actually,
I agree. Texas game. And it's at like 11 our time, by the way, because they're playing here.
Oh, it's here.
Yeah.
We'll fucking be there.
Well, no. I mean, it's in the state of Texas, so it'll be in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl, but I'm not sure what tickets are like.
Yeah, we'll see about that
for yet. But because it's not, if it was a UT, absolutely. But it is a 11 a.m. game, which is odd. Very few fans probably would be allowed.
What's a noon Eastern game, which is the very earliest game that plays?
Yeah, dude.
Like, I don't get why would this is one of the biggest games of the year. This should be in prime time.
So that means those kids have to get up at fucking 6 a.m. and get ready for this game, essentially. And it's tough. I think that's going to be the last one, simply because, look, we are in a shortened season. You've got 4 out of the 5 power conferences in there. I think you're going to have a hard time putting 2 SEC teams in, unless Oklahoma and Texas both lose, right? If Oklahoma loses some other fucking game.
There's no way, though. I mean, look, Texas, the only other game they might lose is Oklahoma State, maybe, in my opinion. I don't think nobody else on their schedule can even come close to them talent-wise. So, I mean, who knows with injuries and all that other bullshit. Now,
Oklahoma State, though, looked absolutely horrific on Saturday.
They look terrible, and that's the only other ranked team in Oklahoma's schedule as well. I think they're going to come into week 4. They're going to play that game, and they're both probably going to win out. Now, depending on what happens with Alabama, Clemson, and Texas and other teams, maybe they get in with a loss. You don't know yet, right? We never know.
Well, yeah,
but then the problem is whoever wins that game, right, they're going to end up having to play each other again, right? So very likely, unless somebody else shows out in the Big 12, which there's no reason to think they will.
Right.
So they're going to play twice this year, and if they split those games, they both come in with 1 loss. But if somebody else has a bad loss against if their only loss is against each other, and they've dominated everybody else, you have to give that some credibility, right?
Right.
And if Alabama loses to fucking X or Clemson loses to Y or whatever it is, and it's a worse loss, then you have to consider that. And if Texas, or if Ohio State loses a game. But there's no way that's going to happen. I don't think Ohio State's going to lose a game.
I don't. Look, I've got Ohio State win the national championship this year. I'll go ahead and jump the gun on that. But, I looked at their schedule. They are at Penn State. And, again, there is no fans, so does it really matter?
No.
I don't know.
No, they're going to be playing in one of the largest stadiums in the country with no one there.
Yeah, and Ohio State's last 3 games are Michigan State's, Penn State's, at Penn State, at Michigan State, and then Michigan at home to close it out, which is rough. And then you have
it's not rough though. That's how you stay in shape for the fucking.
I agree.
God damn it, man.
And you have the Big Ten championship after that, so you'll probably end up facing Wisconsin in that, which is a pretty rough 4-week schedule. But
Clemson's last 4 weeks are Notre Dame, Florida State, who they're a bubble team, and then Pitt and Virginia Tech, and they're all like Notre Dame, Pitt, and Virginia Tech are all ranked. So this is different for them.
Yeah,
to be playing that many teams that are actually good in 1 year.
Yeah, Pitt didn't even cover. that was the game I chose this weekend. Syracuse, 21.5 at Pitt.
Syracuse is a weird team, though. Every now and again, even with a bag or like a group of shitbags, they'll come out and fucking beat somebody by like 14 points. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened? This is Syracuse?
Yeah.
Like Rutgers won a game? I mean, it's surprising to me when Rutgers wins a game, right?
It's surprising me that Rutgers is a Division I college.
Yeah, for sure.
For football, actually.
By the way, I'm just for the sake of the show, I guess, I'm going to pick Clemson for the national championship because I feel like that's probably going to be it.
Gotcha. So for me, it's hard to say what the onesie-twosie is on typical years. I would have put Ohio State at number 1 at the end of the season, but they're playing less games than Clemson. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out as far as the voting goes. It's tough to say. So I'll give you my top 4. It's Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, and then Oklahoma is going to be my last pick in. And then I think the national championship will actually be Alabama against Ohio State for the national championship, and I've got Ohio State beating Alabama for the national championship. For the Clemson folks out there who are wondering why I don't have Clemson in the championship again, I would love to see it. That game last year, I in my opinion, was the best game of the year, that Clemson-Ohio State game. LSU was clearly the best team in college last year and had no problem with anyone. But as far as like football-wise goes, that was the best football game of the year. And I would love to see a rematch in the national championship for that. I know that's why a lot of the kids from Ohio State decided to come back this year, especially the ones that are going in the top 15 in the draft, which is like 3 or 4 of them. But I don't think they get there for the same reason as kind of last year. When you don't play anybody all year round and you get to the playoffs, I think they're going to be stuck playing, because I think Alabama's going to come in at 3. I think Clemson and Ohio State will probably come in at 1 or 2, so they won't play each other in that first round. Therefore, I think Clemson is going to end up playing Alabama, and that's what's going to fuck them, because I think Alabama's going to beat Clemson, and then they're going to face Ohio State. Talent-wise, Ohio State, I'm all in on this year. Like I just bet on mybookie.com. I just bet on Justin Fields to win the Heisman Trophy. It is at plus 275. The only thing there is a limit on the bet, or a max on it.
How much is it?
250. So I put 250 on Justin Fields to win the Heisman. I'm not sure how that's going to work either, though, to be honest with you, because they're playing less games, like 1 less game than Clemson. So if Trevor Lawrence shows out for those extra games, how do you decide who is the best player in college football? I'm not really sure.
I personally think that Trevor Lawrence has a huge chip on his shoulder right now from getting absolutely housed by Joe Burrow last year. I mean, he got embarrassed. Not necessarily head-to-head, but just the performance. Everybody came into the season talking about Trevor Lawrence, and it was the Joe Burrow show from start to finish, right? And I think Trevor Lawrence feels some kind of way about that. I feel like he does, right?
And on my side, I think Justin Fields, it feels slighted by the fact that he's not the number 1 guy going. And the NFL execs that we've talked to, from the Colts in particular,
other than Lawrence.
Because other than Lawrence, that's the dude. And he goes, man, if I was forced to choose, the guy with ice water in his veins is Fields on this one. But he goes, you never know. Like Trevor Lawrence has got the perfect NFL body. So you don't really know.
He's also really good at reading progressions.
Yeah.
Which is something that's hard to teach. Like if you can learn it over time, but some people can't, right? Like you can either learn it or you can't. Some people are pretty good at it. Some people are like Peyton Manning, for example, would read all of his progressions in something like 3/4 of 1 second. Like he's like bam, 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 like faster than you can 1001. Faster than that, he looked at 3 or 4 different people sometimes, and then he got the ball out. Like when he started his throwing motion, the ball is out really fast. You can't teach that stuff, I don't think. I think you just have to have the brain for it. It seems like Lawrence has those skills. Quick release, very strong arm, but I don't know that his pocket awareness is good enough yet, but that's, you can learn that.
Yeah, you can learn that. And with Fields in that Clemson game, and I know he threw that pick at the end, but the receiver ran the wrong route. The ball was where it was supposed to be, and the receiver admitted it afterwards of like, man, I cut off that route and I should have kept going.
Now, Fields is good, and look, I mean, we might be seeing, I think if you're just talking about the draft, then Fields is going top 5 for sure, and it's because
both of them are.
It's because of Mahomes, it's because of Kyler Murray, and it's because of a fucking Cam Newton before them. It's because of all these guys that have actually had success doing.
And even a smaller guy like Kyler Murray is having success this year. The Cardinals are 2-0. So
and look, don't count Jalen Hurts out from getting in the starting lineup this year, because Carson Wentz sucks. He's the most talented person in the NFL that can't fucking win games.
Somebody just dropped him in one of my leagues. Dropped him in fantasy football, and I was like, "Whoa, that is a bold move, Cotton." After 2 weeks, but I think Fields also he competed against Lawrence all through growing up in Georgia. Both of them are from the state of Georgia, and they were always onesie twosies against each other. The dream would be Ohio State Clemson in the national championship to see those two kids go at it one more time before they both go pro. But Fields has always had that chip on his shoulder because it's always been about Lawrence to him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But this year's Ohio State team is absolutely stacked, and they are pissed off about this Big Ten thing. And
but I mean, like
that happened this year to those guys. Like,
who are they pissed off at? Their own organization. They're not pissed off at other teams.
Yeah,
nobody else did that to them.
But there was also a lot of fans out there that were like, "Well, fuck the Big Ten. Who gives a shit? Fuck Ohio State." So, again, that's why I have them winning, and I'm going all in. For whatever reason, those odds are not up on my bookie for the national championship yet.
Not yet.
But I am definitely going all in on Ohio State, and it's not the homer in me. I didn't pick them last year. I picked Clemson to win it all last year.
Yeah.
And I was one game away from that. Shit. I was pretty fucking close. For you LSU fans out there, because there is a lot of them, and I learned.
Oh no, there's odds out.
I learned that for Ohio State.
For the national championship.
I did not see Ohio State.
They've not added anybody from the Big Ten yet.
Correct.
I don't know why it's not updated yet, but it will be after this.
But Clemson is favored.
Yeah, plus 210. I'm sure they're waiting to see how each one of these Big Ten teams plays this first week, right? Mm-hmm. And then they'll add it.
And their first week is not until October 24th, so you're not going to see it until then.
Yeah, it's going to be a minute, so I don't know.
For the LSU fans, because we have a lot of them out there, I don't know how you're going to do. I know Miles Brennan just got named the starting quarterback, which is not a shock. I think we all knew that, but they're bringing back, 3 returning starters. They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their defensive coordinator.
I think they lost everybody on defense,
Yeah.
like all 11. I think they lost 8 on offense.
And then Jamar Chase opted out.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. He's gone. So it's like, I don't know what you're expecting to happen there, but Alabama is hungry as shit, and they have reloaded. So nobody's beating Bama this year.
I feel like everybody is. I mean, no, definitely not in the SEC. They'll tear everybody up over there. And I think we're going to see some of the best, we'll probably see the best CFP of all time this year. You're going to get the 4 best teams for sure. I can't think of a time when the teams were more evenly matched, because we're not talking about, well, this team's got this guy, so they're definitely going to win, or this team has this coach, so they're definitely going to win. We're talking about, well, home field advantage, and if they pick up a game here and lose a game here, we're like actually having to dig for reasons to justify what we're seeing, which to me means there's a lot of fucking really good competition going up against each other.
Yeah, and the fact that there is no fans and there is no home field advantage, the very best team in college is going to win this year.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fun.
It'll be fun. It'll be really fucking hard to bet on, though, and I really want to emphasize that, because a lot of these stadiums, man, you roll in there and hearing 110,000 people screaming at you.
I think you'll know after the first couple of weeks of each team playing who you can and can't bet on. Like Clemson seems like they're going to cover every game. They're
barely. There was a spread against Citadel.
You're always going to barely cover when it's 30 or 50 points, 30 or 50 points.
So it was 48.5. Right before game time, my bookie put up a spread.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by it. I was like, oh, shit. Clemson was up 49-0 at halftime. They had covered at half. They didn't score a point in the second half. Not sure why.
Because they took Trevor Lawrence out and put in 2 people with last names I cannot pronounce.
Even the second and third teams of Clemson, though, should have put some points on the board. So I'm kind of mystified by that.
Yeah.
Look, my sleepers this year are Florida. I think Florida's going to be really good. Georgia, for any Georgia fan out there, like, if there is going to be a second SEC team, it's probably going to be Georgia. But I just don't know what their quarterback is going to do. Like, if Fromm came back, dude, I would have Georgia in the national championship game. But I don't know anything about that kid and what he's going to do. And that's a tough position to replace. So we'll see what happens there. Same with LSU. Look, LSU is currently 5 in this poll right now. And I don't know what they're going to do with all those new people. We'll find out. And that's what the exciting part about it is. So, but right now, my money is definitely on those 4 in the CFP. And you can bet on all of that right now. I hope you're right about Texas. That'd be fun, man. Because we live here, and that'd be a blast.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the same reason, and the reason that I like Clemson for the national championship is the same reason you were talking about Alabama beating them. They've got Lawrence, and Lawrence came back because he's going to be a junior now, but Etienne came back to come back because he wants to win a national
wants to
title,
win a
right?
title, yeah.
So, or another one rather. And he's fucking tearing it up this year. He's got 100 yards in every game. So, those two guys anchored that offense in a lot of ways. Well, I don't know if you're gonna really be able to tell until week 4 when the Texas-Oklahoma game happens, and then when I think Clemson plays Miami, which will be the only good team they play in the first half of the season. So I want to see how their defense plays against that team.
Even Notre Dame, man, watching them that first week, they were terrible. Clemson, I think, is just going to breeze through to the I've got them as a
for
lock.
sure. I just want to see how they play defense against a team that actually has an organized and coordinated offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to see, because last year the defense underperformed most of the year, particularly in the playoffs, in my opinion. And the year before that, they did not. I mean, they lost some guys, obviously, but they're a retool kind of team, and supposedly their defense is going to be pretty lights out this year. So I want to see them against a real team. But for now, my pick is definitely Clemson.
Okay.
For sure.
And I'm going with the Ohio State Buckeyes to win the 2020 National Championship.
Where is the national championship this year?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know if they're putting them in a bubble like MLB, or if they're going to actually stick to the stadiums, they said, because one of them, I know one of the games is in the Rose Bowl, one of the big Final Four games. Where is it?
The national championship is on January 11th, and it is at Miami Gardens, Florida, the Hard Rock Stadium.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if they're having fans in Miami right now.
I don't either. Oh, in Florida?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure in Florida they are.
Not sure,
but we'll
sure.
see. I mean,
if there is, tickets will be available on drinkinbrostickets.com. We've got our own ticketing site, and their tickets are $10 cheaper than StubHub. A bunch of people bought some Cowboys tickets last weekend, and zero problems whatsoever. It's the same system. It's just we're able to charge less. So go to drinkinbrostickets.com for all of those needs, and we'll get you to the sponsors right now so we can get the spreads for the week. The sponsors will not be brought to you by Tyrod Taylor.
No, because he's got a hole in his lung now, thanks to his doctor.
The team trainer accidentally punctured his lung, which is really hard to wrap my mind around.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, that's an injection he's probably given 1,000 times. Basically, he's pushing through the rib cage to put some, I don't know exactly what the painkiller was, but some painkiller behind the rib cage, and he pushed into the homeboy's lung.
Yikes.
I don't know if he fucking moved or gasped or whatever, but
Right.
it's unlikely that a physician did something completely fucked up, because that doesn't happen that often.
No, it's crazy. It's a crazy story, though.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess the Players Association is apparently doing some kind of investigation right now.
I would imagine the lawsuit can be heavy if you wanted to, if you're Tyrod Taylor. Either way, a lot of Chargers fans are saying, hey, man, we've got Justin Herbert anyways, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
He's looked pretty goddamn good so far. It was weird. I didn't think he was that great of a college football quarterback, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to be shitty in the NFL.
I mean, it's hard to gauge when somebody plays in the fucking Pac-12.
It's true.
honest.
By the way, nobody's bitching about the Pac-12 just not playing at all. They're like, we're
No
good.
one cares, yeah. Tyrod Taylor, by the way, is on a 2-year, $11 million contract. He could probably sue for more than that.
Easily.
I mean, he's 31 years old, and he hasn't really made it yet, so...
If you're looking for that last big contract, there it is. You can thank the trainer for that. Maybe split it with him afterwards, because he's not going to be a trainer anymore.
No, he's definitely
One
not.
can be imagining. First and foremost, we are brought to you by KillcliffCBD.com. Best CBD drinkable in the business. Look, if you're out there and you're buying CBD for your aches and pains and joints and all that shit, this is the only brand you can trust. Go to KillcliffCBD.com today for 25 milligrams of CBD in every single can. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros for free shipping and 20% off, which is a massive savings. It is the very best in this world, and I drink a can literally every single night. I use my own fucking promo code. They caught me. I don't want to go into the whole fucking story about it, but whatever, man. I love it so much that even though they're a sponsor, I buy it and I use my own promo code. They get the new flavor strawberry, so they get strawberry, mango,
Strawberry Days.
grape, and the orange kush is still fucking delightful, and the variety pack is where it's at if you really want to get your beak wet. You will not piss hot. There's no THC in this, so please, if you're a first responder or you got to get drug tested or whatever it is, just know that Kill Cliff is a brand you can trust, because if not, they get the shit suit out of them for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fuck around with anything that's not CBD is not a controlled substance anymore or anything like that, and it's legal to sell, but it's not it's not something you can really fuck around with, right? Without facing serious loss.
THC-wise,
they're going into like 17,000 stores this calendar year too. So,
are they really?
Yeah, that only happens with an extreme amount of vetting, by the way, because everybody in that supply chain, by the way, if you sell anything that has any kind of medical use, even if it's like performance enhancing, like over the counter stuff, everybody at every point can be liable for it. Like you have to get insurance on the compounding facility, insurance on the warehouse itself, insurance on the distributor, insurance on the final retail place.
Everything.
It's ridiculous. So trust us, you're not going to piss hot ever with this stuff.
Go to killcliffcbd.com today, promo code Drinkin Bros, 20% off and free shipping. Next up, mybookie.com. That's where we do all of our bets. At this point, if you don't know, come on. Did you really listen to the fucking show? All of our bets go through there. That way, the spreads we're giving and the spreads we're betting on inside Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook are the actual spreads that you will have as well. So that way, when you're cheering along, it'll be like, oh, shit. Although that fucking Monday night spread, man, that Saints spread dropped from 6 to 4.5 real quick.
Really?
And it didn't matter anyways. Saints didn't fucking win at all. So go to mybookie.com today and double your deposit with the promo code Drinkin Bros. Look, man, if you need to use another credit card on there, go ahead, do it.
Why not?
We're not saying no, we're not saying yes on that one. But go to mybookie.com, promo code Drinkin Bros, double your deposit. Last but not least, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Finest mattresses on the land. Tyrod Taylor will probably be in one of those for the next several weeks.
I don't know what you do when you get your lung
lawyer.
punctured.
I don't either, man.
I'm sure it sucks.
It hurts when you say it.
Yeah.
Like I wince when you say it. You will not wince on a ghost bed, though. Finest mattresses in the land, and right now you're getting 2 free pillows with a mattress. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. If you're a member of the military, a first responder, a teacher, or work in the government, you get 30% off everything in the entire store. And there's a 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest on that. And those deals are applicable with the fucking no interest program. You cannot beat it in this life. D'Anthony and I always sleep on the cooling mattress, by the way.
Deluxe, yeah.
Deluxe is the best, dude. That's what I got. I just got that one in the fucking adjustable base.
Got 2 of those.
It is amazing.
Mine's in the mail, right, guys?
What's that?
Mine's in the mail.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yours is in the mail, Giorgio. Yours is in the mail.
There's a mail in it,
Yeah,
maybe.
it's got it does.
Waiting for you.
An MALE in it. What do you need? What size do you need, Giorgio?
Just a queen.
Just a queen for a queen?
Of course.
I'll hit up Rich, dude.
It's for my mom.
I
It's for the
will
guest room.
demand that Rich do it because we had Kid Rock on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
Let's get to the spreads, shall we? First up here, we got Oklahoma. This is the team that I picked to get that final slot in the college football playoffs this year. Boy, back to the Big 12 again, aren't we?
Man, I mean, it's
They're playing Kansas State. This is a noon game for you East Coasters.
It's incredible. Some of these fucking
Spread
spreads.
is 27.5.
I don't even pay attention. I just look at the fucking overs.
Look, the spread is exactly where it should be at 27.5. I think they're going to win by 28. I'm going to take.
It's at 28 now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Of course. Then I'll buy a half a point. I'll take this at 27.5 just to do it. The over under is 60.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the over.
Welcome to the fucking Big 12.
I'm taking the over on that all day, my man.
Oof, my God, man. So yeah, I'm going to take it. I think. Oklahoma's already got a game under their belts.
Yeah.
I think they win this by 4 scores. But, Kansas State can be tricky from time to time.
Yeah, every now and again. I don't know about this year so much with the lack of preparation. Plus, this is their first game coming out of the chute. That's not a good first game.
It says they're 0-1.
Oh, did they lose?
They have lost already to someone. I'm not sure who because I think they were playing only out of conference games. So.
I think Oklahoma State is going to score 55 plus in this game.
I agree, and that Spencer Rattler kid looks legit. So we'll see. But I'm going to take this and look, man. Come along this journey with us for college football bets this year. We'll see how it pans out. There is no home field. Next up, we got Florida at Ole Miss. Florida is currently ranked number 5 in the nation, and this is minus 14 for Florida at Ole Miss. Welcome to the SEC.
Yep. Yeah, I don't ever trust Florida.
with spreads.
Ever.
Yeah, I know you don't.
As a matter of fact, I might take Ole Miss with the points here.
Who's their coach? Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
Is it Lane Kiffin this year? Lane Train. Man, if you're a Florida fan out there, and you've got to go against Lane Kiffin your first game, it's not that Lane Kiffin's that great, but he has interesting fucking play calls that you're like, you've always got to keep on your toes. I've got Florida as a sleeper this year. This is a game I don't bet in real life, but if I am for the show, I would take this down to 13.5 and do that and party. You know what? I might take all of these games since we've got all the SEC teams back this weekend, just to see what happens and how correct and incorrect I am on these spreads, because the first 2 weeks have not been great as far as gambling wise in college football. But so I will take it. I'll take Florida at 13.5. I'm going to buy a half a point on this. And then the next game's interesting as fuck, man. Shit, you've got Kentucky, which will more than likely burn down tonight.
Yeah.
From the Breonna Taylor verdict. Number 23 against Auburn, at Auburn. Tickets are going really, really high for this one. It says $1,000 a piece. Auburn fans don't give a fuck, and they love their team.
Yeah.
This is Auburn minus 7.5. Now this I'm going to take all day. That fucking Knicks kid for Auburn. So I'm going to buy a point and get this at 6.5. I'm going to buy 1 point on this. Is it still it's 7.5 on my bookie? Okay. I'm going to buy 1 point, and I'm going to take Auburn at minus 6.5 on this one.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think, look, Auburn is, if they ever have any trouble, it's with scoring, right? But Kentucky, if they ever are good, it's with offense and not defense. So I'm not too worried about this game. I think it's a two-score game, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Auburn in this one. Next up, UCF, national champion UCF against East Carolina. Spread is minus 27 on this one. I don't bet this one.
No.
That's way too many points. And do I think they'll stomp the Pirates? Yes, I do. But that's way too many points for a team that doesn't get enough coverage to really feel comfortable with. Therefore, I'm going to skip that because that spread is way too fucking high. Next up, we got Georgia Southern against Louisiana. That you heard that correctly. I haven't had problems pronouncing it because I cannot believe Louisiana, just the University of Louisiana, is ranked number 19. The spread is minus 13.5 against Georgia Southern. Now, Georgia Southern used to be a D2 school a couple of years ago.
They get shithoused really fucking badly several times a year.
Yeah, but Louisiana also used to be a D2 school. So what the fuck, man? This is in Lafayette, Louisiana, if you care. I don't know anybody who does care, but with this, man, Louisiana looked impressive their first week. I actually watched that game because it was one of the very first ones on, and they looked great. Not enough for me to put any of my American dollars on, though. Like, this stupid shit. Like, it's tough, man, when a team is definitely not competing for a title and they're not in a major conference. Like, you know,
I agree.
I think they'll definitely beat Georgia Southern.
For
Will
sure,
they cover
they'll beat
14?
them. I don't know, but if you look at the next game, it's Louisville and Pittsburgh, two ACC teams that once the Big Ten comes back into the rankings, neither one of these teams will be there.
No.
So again, I'm skipping this one because I'm not betting on this. This should not be in the top 25 in the first place.
So with Louisville, in regards to that, I watched that entire game on Saturday against Miami. They look fine. I think that they can probably beat Pittsburgh. I didn't think Pitt looked that great against Syracuse.
No.
So for that reason, Louisville is getting points, and they got housed by Miami. I think they come back, and I'm going to take Louisville in this game, and I'll take those fucking points.
This isn't even a real game to me.
No, it's not. It's not to me either. But for gambling, it is. So for gambling, I'm going to fucking bet it. But in real life, like, Jesus Christ, man, get your shit together.
Yeah.
You're losing to Miami by 21. What the fuck? What are you doing? Next up, this game, man. This might be the most fascinating game of the day. Mississippi State against LSU. And the reason why I say this is LSU minus 16.5. You're going to see a brand new LSU team on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Who's the coach of Mississippi State? Isn't it? It's the fucking gambler, man. God, I'm blanking on his fucking
Mike
name.
Leach.
That's it. It's Mike Leach, dude. The guy who never punts and always goes for it on fourth down. Look,
Would he come from Washington State?
Yeah. Remember he coached Minshew.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing about Mike Leach, and this is why I say this game is so fucking fascinating to me. Because you don't know what that motherfucker is going to do and how crazy he is, and you have a whole brand new team for LSU. I wonder if he's going to do the same shit in the SEC that he did up there in the Pac-12, which is not punt, go for it on 4th down, and chuck the ball every fucking down.
There's no way they're going to allow him to do that in an SEC school, right?
I don't know, and that's why this game is so fascinating, because I'm going to flip this on. It's on CBS, too, by the way. It's the 3:30 game.
I might watch it.
But 16.5 points against a guy that's that crazy on the very first game when a team that doesn't know each other and that they've never played, like, whew. Do you bet on this?
No, because I don't know what LSU's offense is going to look like.
I don't either, man.
Last year was an outlier for them. They typically have a good running game and not a great quarterback. We'll see how this guy is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they lost their best receiver, their quarterback, and their best running back. So it's hard. This is essentially week 1 for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I probably don't bet.
Man, the interesting thing for me is, so LSU, like, I was great on. I won on them the entire regular season, and then I lost on them in the college football playoffs. I thought they would cover against Oklahoma, and I was at that game, and they fucking destroyed them. This one, brand new team. I have no idea. It's 16.5. I'm going to stay away from this one, but I'm definitely going to watch it. This is the first game I'm going to fucking watch. That I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Texas against Texas Tech, and this is Texas, University of Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em, man. Hook 'em. McConaughey. Minus 18 against Texas Tech in Lubbock. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Whoo, you love Texas this year. Man, 18 points.
Yeah, I think
against Texas Tech.
Yeah, again, the only time any of those teams are dangerous is when it's at their home stadium. This one's first of all at AT&T.
Yeah. Well, hey, they've got fans there, so
They do have fans there, but
you're allowed to go to Jerry World.
It's not like it's like 25% or some shit like that,
Yeah.
and they're not. I'm not worried about this game, no.
I am at 18.
I think the over might be a little high. I think 70 and a half is kind of high.
None of these teams play defense in the Big 12. 18 is kind of high for me. Therefore, I would lean on Texas Tech, but I don't bet this one either. To be honest with you, man, college is fucking brutal this year. Next up, we got even this next game, Army against Cincinnati. Army's ranked. They're number 22. Cincinnati's number 14. The spread is 13.5 for Cincinnati. Cincinnati has looked great the last 3 years.
Yeah, they've
Luke
become a pretty good
Fickell's their head
program,
coach. Yeah, man. So look, I think Cincinnati will win by 2 scores. I'm okay with 13.5. The over/under is interesting to me on this one because it's 45. That's very low for college.
Low, yeah.
And I think Cincinnati wins by 2 scores, so I'm going to take Cincinnati on this one. Next up, we got West Virginia against Oklahoma State. This is Oklahoma State minus 7. They're ranked number 15. They looked like dog shit last weekend. West Virginia has always got a pretty goddamn good team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oklahoma State looked terrible.
Yeah, they did not look good.
No.
Yeah, I mean, West Virginia has been pretty competitive over the last few years. They might be in the middle of a rebuild right now. I don't know this Dag or Doge guy. I don't know how you say his name, but I'm not that familiar with him. I know they lost a really good quarterback a couple of years ago, and they've been rebuilding since then. But this guy looks pretty good. I mean, he's looked good so far this year. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he threw 3 touchdowns and was pretty good in the red zone. So we'll see. This is a challenge for them, for West Virginia, which is interesting because it's interesting to me because if Oklahoma State doesn't win handily over them, what does that look like further down the road, like when they're playing these other Big 12 teams? Because it's the same thing. This is a challenge early in the season, but again, and it's at home too. I think Oklahoma State's fine on this, to be honest.
I do too, but I will buy a half a point and take it at 6.5 just in case. Just in case in this one that it is a 1-score game. Even if it goes into overtime, I'll still at least win that and not push it. But I'm with you on that. I think Oklahoma State got embarrassed last week, and I think they're gonna come out with something to prove in this next one. So I'm gonna take Oklahoma State at 6.5. Next up, we got Georgia against Arkansas.
Not a chance.
No, this is minus 26.5.
Yeah.
And look, this is where it should be. Arkansas has not improved anything.
No, they're terrible, but Georgia, who the fuck knows what they're even going to look like? You know what I mean?
I
mean, they're going to be good.
I think they're going to be able to cover this.
We don't know. We don't know how good yet. It's a bad bet to make.
It is, but for the sake of it, I'm going to take it because I think this is a 4-score game. This is a Abraham Lincoln 4-score in 7 years ago game. I'm going to take it.
Not me, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I believe in Georgia this year. I think they're gonna have a good year. Even if they have to hand off the ball every fucking play.
Maybe they might. Yeah.
I think they win by 28. This next one, Alabama against Missouri. Whew.
Missouri actually had some pretty decent games last year.
I know. This is at Missouri, and there are fans in the stand. You can buy tickets at drinkinbrostickets.com. So, shit, man. 27 points is a lot. Mm-hmm. I think Alabama is dominant. They have officially named Mac Jones as their starter, which, again, is not a surprise. He was the one that was in for Tua last year. 27 points is a lot, though.
It is, but the bottom completely fell out for Missouri last year at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And so far as I can tell, they haven't done too much to improve.
Okay.
So I'm good with Alabama at 27.
Okay. And look, the reason why they're putting a lot of these spreads at this 26.5, 27 is to lure you into these 28, 4-score games like this. Man, I'm going to stay away from the Alabama one. I might take it in a teaser, to be honest with you, because I'm going to try a college teaser as well this week, since I tried the NFL one last week, and we'll see how that goes. But 27, man, against Missouri for your opening game, that's rough. Next up, we got Vanderbilt against Texas A&M. Vandy is awful year after year. The spread is Texas A&M minus 31. Too many points.
It's too much. If this was a Big 12 game, I'd probably take that, to be honest.
But in the SEC, man, you could get some form of stop. I understand Vanderbilt's terrible. 31 points, though, is a lot for a team that is in the SEC fourth, in my opinion.
That's not one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Well, in the SEC, they're not even a top 5 team. I still got Florida, Georgia, LSU, and Alabama ahead of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
31 points against an in-conference game. Yes, they will beat Vanderbilt, but I'm not touching a spread of 31. Next up, man, back in the day, this used to be the best game every year. Florida State against Miami.
Not anymore.
No. Florida State has fallen on really hard times ever since Crab Legs left.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any easier for them. They're already 0-1.
Yeah.
And now they're playing a Miami team that's is pretty hot right now.
Yeah.
Miami is minus 11 in this one. Who did Florida State lose to? Who was that game? Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Okay. 16-13.
Which is embarrassing in its own right.
Yes. Georgia Tech is definitely not a football school anymore.
No, certainly not.
Yeesh. 11 points for Miami. This is a rivalry game. I mean, this is the one they get up for every single year, man. These were all the wide right games as a kid. So, 11 points is a lot, though.
It's too much.
I agree.
It's too much to bet on, I think, just because the jury's still out on Miami for me.
These spreads are shitty this weekend, man, for
not
college,
great.
man. Could it be a 2-score game? Yeah, it could, but it's in Miami, I guess. Yeah, there is tickets. There is tickets in Miami, Dan. So if you're there, you can get them as low as $88 if you want to go to this game. Which, fuck, man,
it's not bad.
Yeah, if you're a fan of those teams, the rivalry game, that'd be great. Betting on it though, not so much.
Probably
take a flyer on that one.
Yeah.
This will probably be a late night junkie pick for me, to be honest with you. Good. Subscribe to Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook. I will probably throw 100 on right before, like an hour before this game. So just check back on it. 7:30 p.m. Game as well for the SEC is Tennessee against South Carolina. Tennessee is ranked 16 currently.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it would be good for college football if Tennessee made a comeback at some point. I don't know if this is the real deal yet or not. We'll see. We'll see when these Big Ten teams get back in here and everybody starts, competing against their, against their own conferences. But we'll see how the teams develop over the year. But I'm not sold on Tennessee yet, so I'm not gambling on them.
Yeah, it's minus 3.5 right now, and we don't know. Look, Tennessee appeared to be back towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
But South Carolina, look, it's an in-conference game, so it's to start off the season. It's out South Carolina. There is tickets available. So there is some sort of fans in the stands. I just at 3.5, No, you know what? I would take a flyer on it 2.5 maybe, but
Yeah, maybe.
you know that's tough. These spreads are really shitty.
Yeah,
for college this week.
I mean, look, I think everybody's still trying to figure things out.
Bet
That's
at
what it
your
is.
own risk for college this weekend. NFL, we've got dialed in, man. We've been on fire, but bet at your own risk on these spreads, man. These are really tough, including this next one, NC State against Virginia Tech. This is the 8 o'clock game. Doesn't deserve to be, but it is. And it's Virginia Tech -7 in this one. You're probably fine on that.
I'm taking that one,
Yeah, you're probably fine with Virginia Tech on that one. We've seen NC State in person last year, and they were horrific.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Horrific.
Clemson was up like, 39 in the first quarter or 29 in the first quarter or some shit? Yeah.
Next up, we got BYU against the Men of Troy. Look at that, man. I thought Troy would go out of business. If college football went out of business this year, nope. They're still finding big opponents to play and make some of that cash. This is BYU -14.
I'm taking that to 13.5.
Yeah.
I actually think BYU's got a pretty good team this year. They've got, I mean, they're not great, obviously. It's fucking BYU, but they've got this. I don't know how to say his name. It's Tyler something, Alger something or other. I don't know how you say his name, but he's actually a pretty damn good receiver.
Yeah, and you and I watched the BYU Navy game, and they trucked Navy. I mean, it was like 55-3 when I turned that off.
Navy had some high hopes coming into that game, and they got fucking wrecked.
Navy was ranked.
Yeah, I think BYU is going to light Troy up. I think they're going to win by fucking 3 scores, to be honest. But I'm taking it down to 13.5 just to be safe.
I am as well, and I'm going to ride that fucking donkey with you. It's in Provo, Utah, and there's tickets available for that one as well. Notre Dame against Wake Forest has been postponed due to the coronavirus. 7 players from Notre Dame tested positive for the coronavirus. That's that Catholic shit, man. They're getting that Catholic pussy after the game. I understand it.
Catholic P.
Yeah. We're going to shift on over to the NFL. By the way, buy raycon.com/Drinkin Bros. Those headphones are fucking incredible. I'm a gigantic fan of them, and these are the best in the biz as far as wireless goes. 6 hours worth of wireless headphones. Can you beat it? Probably not. Should you have a pair? Yes, you should. They're cheap as fuck. Go to buyraycon.com/Drinkin Bros and get these fucking headphones, dude. You can jam out. You can listen to all the games, and they last for 6 hours. Come in a little box. It's about yay big right here. If you can't see yay, it's about the size of silver dollar. And you pop them in there. They charge for 6 hours. They got a million different earpieces that go along with it, which is nice. So no matter how big your ear holes are, they will fit your ears, and they have the size. Go to buyraycon.com/Drinkin Bros today and get yourself some of these amazing wireless headphones. What it does is it takes about 15% off on that URL, and you're styling, dude. You're good to go on that. Knocks
Styling
down about
and profiling.
$65. Yeah, man.
That's what Ric Flair used to say. Style.
Woo! Goddamn right he did.
I mean, there's a picture of him somewhere around here.
I have a actual signed
the belt?
robe from Ric Flair
That's
at my
right, the
house.
robe, yeah.
It's in my office at my house. Let's flop over to the NFL, D'Anthony. First up, this is
Jesus
why would you
Christ.
do this game on a Thursday night?
There are some times in life, right, with the NFL especially, because they make these schedules before everybody knows. Like college will change the game times on Sunday sometimes, or on Saturday sometimes, based on who's better and whatever the fuck, right? For Thursday and Monday night games, the NFL obviously can't do that, but so sometimes there'll be a game on the schedule and you're like, oh, before the season started, that seems like it might have been a good game. I can get that. There's no version of this fucking game right here that was ever going to be good for anybody.
None. Not one prayer on this earth.
I mean, that's bad.
Was the Dolphins against the Jaguars.
This is the worst.
Good idea.
This is the worst, I think, primetime game I've ever seen. These are two of the worst teams in the NFL.
history of the world. Yeah.
These are literally two of the worst teams in the NFL.
And last Thursday, it was the Cincinnati Bengals against the fucking
Browns,
and we thought that was bad. This is even worse.
Are they just doing interstate rivalries from now on?
No, I here's my guess, and this is
They want
some
people to see tour or some shit?
No, here's my insider Hollywood shit on this one. These games are on the NFL Network on Amazon, I believe. They're not on CBS yet. Therefore, CBS is like, cool, man, we're not paying for these advertising dollars. So I think they're throwing the shittiest games up on Thursday until that's because halfway through the season, I think it's game 6. It switches back over to CBS where you can watch it CBS and the other one where Romo calls those games.
Right.
So I think it's certainly what it feels like. They're putting the shittiest teams out because they're not getting the advertising dollars for these games because you get to watch it on the NFL Network.
Maybe, because I'm definitely not going to be watching this game.
No.
Nor am I going to be gambling on it because literally these are the 2 worst teams in history.
Look, you have Minshew, and the spread is 3 for Jacksonville. I'm going to take it at 2.5, and I'm going to go on Minshew just to do it because it's Thursday, and the junkie in me will do it. I will do it. I will bet 100 on this game at 2.5. I can promise you that. Am I telling you to do it at home? No, I'm not. That would be irresponsible for me. But I will, because I'm a fucking degenerate. So I'm going to do this at 2.5 on the Jaguars and watch Minshew light it up. Although Fitzmagic has played kind of impressively, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's always...
We'll see. Next up is the most disappointing team in the league this year, which happens to be my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons, and they are playing the Chicago Bears. Here's how horrific the Bears are. They're 2-0, and the spread on this is -3 for Atlanta Falcons, who are 0-2. Trubisky looked like he regressed last game. They looked fucking awful.
He's not great.
They did not cover that spread. However, they did in the teaser, which was sweet. Whereas the Falcons, to be honest, should have won that fucking game against the Cowboys. They were up by 20 the entire game. But are you too defeated after a game like that you've given up on this season? That's what you have to ask yourself.
That's a good question. I mean, it's the Bears have a very good defense, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. And Julio Jones' hamstring is still iffy. We don't know if he's even going to play or not.
He looked like shit last week.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if he's going to play this week or not. So I don't think none of this makes sense to me.
Todd Gurley's on like a snap count. I'm not sure, but look, man, I bet Atlanta last week and won, but I was getting points. If you want to have Atlanta give somebody points, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm not. There's no way.
I'm not touching this game. There's plenty of other games that are great to bet on. This is not the one, for sure. Next up, we got the Rams against the Bills. The Bills and the Rams are both 2-0. Josh Allen has looked fucking awesome this year. And to be fair, the Rams have looked pretty goddamn awesome as well.
Yep.
Robert Woods is having a banger of a year. Jared Goff looks like the quarterback he's supposed to be. This is at Buffalo. There is tickets to this game. So you're going to be able to go, Bills fans. I don't know if they're allowing tailgating or what, but it's Buffalo -2 in this. Look, man, I like Buffalo to continue the streak. At -2, that is a field goal game, which is exactly why they put that spread there. And I'm going to keep riding the Buffalo Bills. They fucked me last week.
This is a tough game.
It is.
To be honest, because the Rams are giving up. Like, they played the Cowboys so far. And who did they play last week? The Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah.
2 teams that both have better offenses than the Bills, in my opinion. Particularly the Cowboys. And they held them to 17 and 19 points, respectively.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Bills are going to score points against this fucking defense. I mean, it's going to be a low-scoring game, and you can see that in the over.
You have 2 of the very best defenses right now, at least through the first 2 weeks. The Bills have one of the best defenses in the league anyways.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, the Rams have Aaron Donald. That doesn't hurt.
They do, and Jalen Ramsey just signed a huge $105 million deal. But, yeah,
I mean, we're going to see what Josh Allen's made of this week. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to stick with the Bills this week and say they go 3-0. Next up is the Washington football team, which, again, is really growing on me. I know I said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week. I like it, and I hope they stick with it. I don't really give a shit what you think about that. They're playing the Browns. Browns, man. It's -7 for the Browns. No.
They'll probably have the Browns will probably have a good week this week. But it's not worth risking your money to find out. to be honest.
No, I think Chase Young will tear Baker Mayfield's legs off, and I think little Baker will probably be in the hospital after this. So
He might.
I don't know. The problem is the offensive line for the Washington football team is awful, and they don't really have enough weapons. It's basically Haskins and McLaurin with no line, no running backs, and no other wide receivers,
Right.
and no tight ends. So it's tough. Yes, their defense is amazing, but for those reasons, as like Dan said, why risk your money on that? I'm with you. There is better games out there. This next one is not one of them. The Titans against the Vikings, and this is the Titans minus 2.5.
I called this shit with Kirk Cousins, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Everybody was super excited he was going to Minnesota. I'm like, nah, it's not the guy.
No. Look, the scary thing about the Titans is this. They're 2-0, and Derrick Henry has had a slow start. So he is still yet to be unleashed.
He's only
yet.
averaging 100 yards a game.
Yeah.
That's a slow start for him.
It is. I mean,
it is, yeah.
For real. Like, towards the end of last year, that motherfucker was putting up 150 every game. So, like, he hasn't had that huge fantasy game that's going to, absolutely obliterate it. I think he does now, and I think the Titans win this game. It's weird that the Vikings are going to be 0-3, but they just look out of sorts, man.
No, they're not. They're a pretender. I don't think they're a good team at all.
No. So, I'm going to take the Titans on this one. I'm going to go light, though, on this one. This is not my pick of the week by any stretch. Next
By the
up,
way, Minnesota is like the 5th worst in the league in run defense.
Yeah. Henry's going to have a day and a half. I think this is when he breaks out, game 3 this year and just absolutely destroys people in fantasy. And the reason why I say that is of him not having a huge game. Last year, towards the fantasy playoffs, dude, if you were going up against Derrick Henry, forget it.
Yeah.
He was going to beat you on his own and put up 45 points, and you're fucked. I think this game, he has 150 and a couple of touchdowns, and it gets nasty up there. Next up, we got the Raiders against the Patriots. This is -6 for New England. I believe you called the Raiders winning last week
Sure did.
over the Saints. I did not.
I like the Raiders as long as they're not playing a team that has a super explosive offense. Now, they're in trouble this week, I think, because their biggest problem is in their secondary. And their secondary is bad.
Yeah,
it's 29th in the league.
Yep.
And it was 27th in the league last year. So nothing's really changed. And that's not a problem passing necessarily against Cam Newton, but the fact that you have to put a spy on him, that becomes a problem because now you either have to run nickel defenses with a spy, or you have to run your 3-4 and have one of your one of your strong safeties or something be a fucking spy or whatever, and it takes one of those guys out of the secondary game.
Yeah.
And look, Cam can still throw the ball downfield a little bit. So, and that's what makes him dangerous. I think in this situation, and it's Belichick, remember that. If the game plan is right for the Patriots, I don't think the Raiders can win this game.
I don't either. And the impressive thing, even though they lost, was Cam Newton definitely looks like the fucking quarterback of the Patriots.
Yeah.
As far as like, oh, hey, we're going to just slide him in here for a couple games, see how he
Yeah.
does. He looks like the long-term quarterback. For
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Patriots.
he definitely, that style certainly complements him.
I mean, and he's
there's no
only
question
going to
about
get that team is only going to get stronger as
Yeah.
the weeks go on, as he gets to know that system even better and better. For that reason, yeah, I'm taking the Patriots in this one. And at -6, that's a one touchdown game. So I'm going to take the Patriots. They look great, and everybody else should be worried about that in that division, including the Bills. Shit, I had the Bills winning that division before they picked up Cam Newton.
We'll see.
We'll find out. The next one, look, wait until game time for this one because we don't know if Garoppolo is going to play.
Yeah.
It's 49ers against the Giants. It's San Fran -4. Any other week, I would tell you take San Fran and the fucking entire house mortgage, your friend's mortgage.
Particularly with, I still take it. I don't care who's in quarterback for the 49ers. It's Saquon Barkley's gone, and that's their entire offense ran through him.
Yes, I agree.
Not just Danny Dimes and his bullshit. By the way, he's 51 out of 81 this year, which is not a great percentage.
No.
He's not a great passer.
He's going to have to throw 81 passes this game as
And
but
he's demonstrated that he's not a very good passer. I mean, that's like 50 fucking something percent.
my
55%.
problem is I don't know who the backup quarterback is for the 49ers.
It doesn't matter, to be honest.
Well, I mean, look,
opinion.
your two of your running backs are gone. Bosa's gone. Your quarterback
For sure.
could be gone.
For sure, but they're an actual Super Bowl caliber team that lost a couple of pieces. the Giants are a mid-level team that lost their only piece.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's no fucking way. They're going to the 49ers will win by 10 in this game.
Whew. I don't know.
Their backup, by the way, is some guy named Nick Mullins.
Oh, Nick Mullins. All right. Well, shit. He played the year before when Garoppolo was out with that ACL. He's a fucking gamer, man. Actually, if Nick Mullins is the quarterback,
He's got a 72% completion percentage.
he was fun to watch, man. That guy was a fucking blast to watch. If it's Nick Mullins, I'm in, and I'll bet this. Is Kittle's out too? Is George Kittle out?
Let me check here. He's questionable, and so is
God damn it.
Garoppolo.
I mean, the entire team is hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurd is on the IR. Tavon Austin, Richie James. They got a lot of guys over here.
Man.
Not including on the defense.
I'll check back on this one, but Nick Mullins is fun to watch. So who knows? Bengals against the Eagles. This is the Eagles -6. Both of these teams are 0-2. And Carson Wentz has not looked great. Whereas Joe Burrow has looked great. Shit. If you started Joe Burrow in fantasy last week, you were fucking dealing, man. Even though they lost, that kid showed a lot of heart. I mean, he was driving the ball down the field. They had a chance to get the ball back with an onside kick towards the end, and that's really all you can ask for out of a first-year player. Whereas the Eagles have drastically underperformed this season. So at -6 on this one, with the Eagles, is Carson Wentz playing, or is he here too?
No, he's playing, so far as I know.
Then I'll take the Eagles in this one. They got to get a win here, one would think.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
But the Bengals are fun, man. They're a fun team to watch right now. AJ Green is not fun if you have him in fantasy, but the rest of that team is fun. Joe Mixon looks good. Next up, we got the Texans against the Steelers. Two teams heading in totally different directions. Texans are 0-2. Steelers are 2-0.
Yeah.
This is Steelers -4 on this one. This is an interesting game for me.
And the Texans have lost by double digits both times.
But there's a caveat to that.
I mean, yeah, it's
they
tough
lost
teams.
to the two best teams
in the league, yeah.
in the league. So
sure.
it's the Ravens and the Chiefs. The Steelers have looked good, man. To me, I'm going to take the Texans with the points in this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like the Steelers' defense too. It's not just about Big Ben coming back. They held Saquon to nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Which is not easy to do, regardless of what else is going on in the Giants. That dude could be on the field by himself with no blockers, and it would still be hard to catch him. You know what I mean? The Broncos, they gave up a little more points to that. Some of them came late. I think the Steelers' defense is fucking tough, man. I think this is going to be a really good goddamn game.
So do I, and I'm amped to watch it, but I'm going to take these points because I think it could be a field goal game towards the end of it.
Yeah.
And
I think it'll be close. Yeah, nobody's pulling away here.
With the spread at 4, with the Texans getting 4, Deshaun Watson, after signing that huge contract, going 0-3 would be a shocker to me.
It'd be bad, yeah. I think there's a lot of chemistry problems on that team right now after DeAndre Hopkins leaving and shit.
Everybody left.
I think people are still feeling a sort of way about that, and they're either going to win this week or this is going to be a rebuild season for them.
Yeah.
Frankly, because you can't go 0-3 in that fucking division.
No, not at
and
all.
Make it back. Ever.
Not at all. So for those reasons, I'm going to go the Texans plus the points on this one. Next up, we got the Jets against the Colts. Boy, this is a massive spread for this game. This is -10.5. I realize the Jets are a horrible football team, right? I know Le'Veon Bell's on the injured reserve. He might never play there again. But 10.5 against the Colts.
The Colts have only scored 48 points total this year in 2 games. That's 24. So what's it going to be, a 24-10 game?
The spread is
24-13?
44.5. I mean, the over-under is 44.5 in this game.
I mean, look, you're right. The Jets are terrible.
Yeah.
And they're not any better on defense, really, than they are on offense. They haven't played a good offense yet. They played the Bills and the 49ers so far, and they've still lost by fucking double digits in both games, right? Giving up 27 and 31, I think, respectively. There's no fucking way. There's no way. I'm betting this.
Do you take the under in this one?
I take no, I don't. I'm not messing with that, but I am taking the Colts at 10.5.
Wow.
I think this is a 2-touchdown game.
Safety Bradley McDougald. Interesting last name. He had a press conference after last week's game and said that there was a lack of intensity in the practices this year for the Jets.
Really?
And some question whether or not they're tanking for Lawrence, tanking for Trevor. I don't know. But there's a lot of problems on that team. They look, Le'Veon Bell hates the fucking coach. I thought that Gase hiring was awful anyways.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but man, a double-digit dog on the road is, whew,
There's not going to be any fans in that stadium.
Man.
Right?
It says tickets are $39.
Oh,
Whatever
really?
the fuck they are. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, Jets Colts 10.5. My God, man,
Taking
that's
it.
tough. It's tough. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Next, I'm not going to touch 10.5. That's
It's
crazy.
actually at 11 now.
Is
so
it
I'm
really? So
Probably,
everybody's betting
I'm
them.
probably not going to take that.
Next up, we got the Panthers against the Chargers.
It's an interesting game, too. The
It
Panthers
is.
are playing better than I thought they were going to play.
Same, but now McCaffrey's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, so now it's like, how do you even gauge the value of that team without him? Because everything revolves around him.
Everything.
He's one of if
He's the guy. You can't lose.
Is there a football stat for usage like there is in the NBA? Like usage means how many times
Percentage of plays, yeah.
The end of the play ends with you somehow. Hockey assist or score a shot.
Yes.
Right? Something like that, or a turnover, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is there something like that for football? Because he's got to be involved in most of the fucking plays,
It's
right?
like fucking 82%. I mean, it's crazy. And he's not going to be on the field. The Chargers are minus 6.5. Obviously, Herbert is probably going to be your QB in this one for the Chargers.
Well, I mean, homeboy Tyrod Taylor's got his fucking lungs out. Like,
Yeah.
they're sitting on the table next to him now. So what is he gonna-
Bridgewater, Mike Davis. I picked up Mike Davis off the waiver wires on this one because I've got McCaffrey in a couple of my leagues.
Look, man, Bridgewater is 72.5% accurate so far this year.
Right,
Which is
right.
not something I expected. I like.
You've got Robbie Anderson.
I
on
do
your
have
team,
Robbie
yeah.
Anderson. Yeah, I sat him last week and lost, and it was a mistake because Julio fucked me. I didn't know he was that hurt.
You can't not start Julio Jones.
I know.
though, if
Like,
he
how do you,
plays.
well, I'm not going to start him this week,
Yeah.
regardless if he plays or not. Because I mean, he
He's definitely hurt, by the
To
way.
me, yeah, he is for sure. To me, he was like Mike Evans week one.
Yeah.
I benched Mike Evans week one, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fucking not playing a hurt guy. That's what I'm doing."
Yeah.
And the first week ever that he's playing with this quarterback, and it worked out because he ran one route the correct way. Brady overthrew it, and then he caught one touchdown pass at the end, but that wasn't enough points to get to where my other guys
No.
were. Now this week I started Mike Evans, and I think he scored 24 points.
Yeah, he crushed it this week.
Yeah, so, I
Rob Gronkowski has done nothing.
No,
by the
he
way.
hasn't yet, but he's never been like a huge – like there's been a couple of seasons where he's had big individual seasons, but he comes up when the moment is right. You know what I mean?
He had 0 points this week.
Yeah,
Not-
but
not
like-
one catch, not
but
one
look,
yard.
Look, he didn't have any catches. I think he had one catch actually for 3 yards in the AFC Championship, and then all of a sudden, fucking 39
yeah.
yards downfield, and then a touchdown catch. I mean, it was like that's the kind of player he is.
It is not enough for me to trust this week. I'm benching him on my fantasy team, but
don't blame me there.
The Panthers at the Chargers at minus 6.5. Two shitty teams that are injured. No, I don't do it. Look, gut says Chargers, but yeah, why spend your money on this? Next up, we got the Buccaneers against the Broncos. Is Drew Lock hurt? I feel like we're asking this about every single team. Are they out? Is that guy out?
Denver's definitely missing a number of people.
Cortland Sutton is out for the year.
He's out for the year.
Philip Lindsay
is doubtful.
So he's not playing. Drew
Drew
Lock
Lock's out, yeah.
is out.
So it's either going to be Driscoll or Blake Bortles. Who
It'll be Driscoll. Driscoll came in last week and did pretty well. He put on a decent little comeback against the Steelers.
Jerry Judy's questionable too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know about this one. That's
I'll take Tampa Bay then. If all those guys are out, Tampa
Yeah.
Bay rolls.
It's
It's
6.
only minus 6.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, fuck. There's no way. And he's gonna be playing in front of Elway.
yeah.
Tom Brady. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers on this one for sure. I'll put a couple hundy on that actually with all those injuries for the Broncos. They don't even know who's gonna be on the fucking field next week. Next up, we got the Lions, who are 0-2. The most impressive 0-2 team that I've seen in the league against the Cardinals, who are 2-0.
I mean, it's the same old Lions. They
Yep.
They can do some things and they can't do others.
Yep, and it is Arizona minus 5.5 in this one, and that's exactly where that line should be. I'm going to take the Cardinals and ride the hot hand here. They've looked good.
Yeah, because I mean, look, the Lions look really bad.
They
Matt's-
haven't looked. They should have won the first game. DeAndre
They
Swift
should have,
lost,
yeah, for
dropped
sure.
that touchdown, but
Yeah.
it was against the Bears, and the Bears are shitty.
But just
so.
overall, I mean, Matt Stafford is his completion percentage right now is like 59%.
Right.
That is lose your job level right there. If he didn't-
They've got some injuries as well. I believe. Is it Galladay? who's
Galladay's out, or he's questionable.
Questionable
Yeah,
now,
but they've still got. I mean, Kerryon Johnson, Marvin Jones, and Danny Amendola and T.J. Hawkinson. They got plenty of threats out there for him to be throwing to.
Absolutely, but their defense sucks. And
It does, yeah.
And look, Arizona, all they do is fucking air it out. DeAndre Hopkins has looked great. Fucking Larry Fitzgerald's looked all right. He's still their number 2 guy at 90 years old.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one and vote and bet it with confidence.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet it with confidence in this.
This might be the first time I've ever actually gambled on the Cardinals
Yeah.
and felt pretty good about it.
Ever in my life. I think.
Since
Literally
since
ever.
Kurt Warner was there, obviously, but that was 60 goddamn years
know.
ago. Which
I know, I wasn't even
Larry
born yet.
Fitzgerald was still there.
Yeah, he was
And,
still there. He was. He was in that Super Bowl. This next one is one of the games of the week, in my opinion. Cowboys, Seahawks. This is at Seattle. And
This is a game where if this was if it was any other two teams, I would be fucking laying the house on the Seattle at 4.5.
4.5, yeah.
I would be laying the house on it, but Seattle can't be fucking trusted to cover spreads. And the Cowboys every now and again decide they want to play and fucking dominate somebody.
Yeah. Yep.
I do not know what to do here.
High over on this one, 55
Yeah,
and a
56.
half.
I'll take the over in
Yeah.
that.
Is it 56 now? So it's going up.
Yeah.
So everybody's betting that over. Man, you know what I'm going to do here? Because I think the Seahawks do win. I think this is probably a field goal game. You can actually do this. You can buy up to 3 points if you want to. I'm going to buy 2 points and get this down to 2.5 and take Seattle at 2.5. Because I think Seattle does win this game. But it's going to be close because it's Seattle, and every fucking game has got to come down to the last
I mean, it
possession.
shouldn't be, though. They're a much, much better team.
I agree.
Overall than Dallas is right now.
Yeah.
But you never fucking know. I don't trust those guys. I'm betting the over.
Ooh, 56. How many fucking... That's 9 touchdowns?
Yeah.
8 touchdowns. That's
Yeah.
8 touchdowns. You know, yeah. Fuck. I could see it for sure. For sure. Next up, the 8 o'clock game. Well, the Sunday night game. This is a good one. Packers, Saints.
This is a good game. Yeah.
This is a great game.
Well, maybe. We'll see what fucking Drew Brees looks like.
I wanted to ask you about that. There has been people coming out saying that his age is affecting his arm now, and apparently he doesn't have any fucking completions.
He's got 2 completions over 20 yards in the air all season.
Yeah.
So 2 in 2 games, basically.
Is Michael Thomas out?
He is, yeah. Unless he's made some miraculous recovery, but I'm pretty sure he's out this week as well.
Fuck. I asked that about every fucking team. Meanwhile, the Packers have looked great. Aaron Jones absolutely ate people last week. He was phenomenal.
Thomas is questionable, but
Aaron Jones has looked great. Aaron Rodgers has looked great. Packers seem to be rolling right now, and Drew Brees seems to be looking older and older. This is New Orleans -3. This is exactly where this line should be. When they don't know in Vegas like that on MyBookie or anybody else,
yeah, the home team just gets 3 points.
they just get 3 points no matter what because it's pretty much going to be a one possession game. And I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, I don't know why the fuck the Packers are getting 3 points. That's ridiculous to me. They should be favored in this game. The way with the injuries recently, the way Drew Brees has played, the way fucking Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers have played, this team deserves to be ahead of the Saints. I mean, look, you can talk about it is difficult to play down there sometimes, but not right now, probably, right?
No.
Like, come on, get out
There's
of
nobody
here.
there.
I'm taking I might take the Packers just flat out to win. What is it?
No, they're getting 3 points.
It's plus 150. I might take them to win.
Yeah, but shit, you're also getting 3 points. So if you want to do that in any form of spreads, even a 6-point teaser, you can get it up to 9 for Christ's sakes for the Packers. And then Monday Night Football. This is the very best game of the year.
Yeah,
hands down.
I mean, this is probably your AFC Championship matchup, and
it has to be.
Probably what should be the Super Bowl, to be honest. But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
so.
it does not work that way. So these are both in the AFC. This is the Chiefs against the Ravens. Like we said before, whenever the spread is around 3 like this.
Yeah, it's 3.5 now.
Yeah, so that means everybody's betting Baltimore.
Yeah. I think they're wrong, by the way.
I do too.
I think the Chiefs are going to win.
I think the Chiefs are going to win as well. I think for the exact reasons we talked about earlier, where they only play when they want to play.
Yeah.
This is a game they want to play.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes will want to prove that he's the best quarterback in the league over Lamar Jackson. And yes, everybody and their mother is going to be watching this fucking game. I am all in on the Chiefs on this one. It's tough because look, Lamar Jackson has looked amazing. Any thoughts on that over at 54.5?
I mean, look, the two teams also have a pretty good defenses on both sides of the ball, but they have explosive.
Ravens in particular.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, the Chiefs had made marked upgrades in their defense over the last couple of years. From the first time when they were playing the Patriots in the fucking AFC Championship game 2 years ago, they were good. The defense was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Now they're like top 10 in pretty much every category defensively, and people sleep on them because they don't think about the Chiefs as a defensive team. But I think in overall yards, they're like 6th or 7th in the league last year. It's pretty goddamn good, right? And I think they were 7th in total yards allowed and like 6th in total points allowed all year, which is crazy for a team that plays the pace that they do. So I think they're pretty good. I think this is the best matchup that you're ever going to see on a football field in the modern era.
Man, it's a blast, and miraculously everybody's healthy.
They're all filled out. Like everybody's got 2 great receivers or 2 great running backs or something like that.
Yep.
They both have really good quarterbacks. They both have above average defense, like top 5 defenses, top 10 defenses. This is going to be a fucking great game. I think you're right though, rather that they're going to show up to play. The Chiefs are going to show up to play.
Yeah.
They want this game.
And
This is about pride, right?
And if they are going to lose, it's going to be by a field goal, and that half point is going to mean the world.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Chiefs in that, and I mean, there's a million storylines. Mahomes against Jackson, even fucking J.K. Dobbins against Hilaire. You know.
Yeah.
Those two have looked great.
Dobbins especially has looked great. Look, Mark Ingram is still a
Hilaire has been a fucking stud.
Yeah, Mark Ingram is still a very good running back. Obviously,
he
is.
Yeah.
But J.K. Dobbins is certainly the future of that team. Although considering the fact that they have Lamar Jackson, like that's a triple option potential right there.
Yeah.
Like plus you have people like Mark Andrews that are catching passes. I mean, it's
Mark Andrews is having a monster here. So look,
I'm looking forward to this game, but I still think the Chiefs are going to pull. I think the Chiefs want to win this game decisively.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to
and then
put
they'll
their
probably
stamp.
lose next week.
Probably, yeah.
Because
but
they don't care anymore.
I think they really want to fucking put their stamp on the AFC, and this is the only time this year they're going to get to do it until the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
Set the tone.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm betting the Chiefs heavily in this one, and that is going to be a blast Monday nights. You can bet with us or against us on mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your deposit, and you can see our actual betting slips every single day at Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook. We are not attending any games this weekend because we're doing a barbecue cook-off with between Jared and Jessie for a Drinkin Bros and Drinkin Broettes crossover episode. So we will be there, and that'll be shot, and we'll be able to get that out to you on YouTube. So we will not be at the games, but if you are attending games, go to drinkinbrostickets.com today for all your ticketing needs, about $10 cheaper than StubHub. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros Sports Companion Show. Good night, everyone.